And we're live. Welcome back to another episode of Soulful Sips. I'm Alyssa.
I'm Julie.
And this is MJ.
Yay!
Happy fall, guys.
Yes, happy fall.
fall.
Wow. It is
It's so-
October.
It's so funny because in podcast time, it probably doesn't feel like a lot of time has passed, but in like real world time, it feels like a lot of time has passed since we've like all sat down and had a powwow.
I know.
Yes.
So I'm excited to catch up with you guys.
I know. It's been a while.
I'm excited. It's also a really good season just to recalibrate, reflect, check in with each other too.
Yeah. So on that topic, what are you guys sipping on? Is it like fall specific this time?
I don't know if this counts, but I'm drinking yuzu tea or yuja tea in Korean, actually. And I just bought it today to celebrate the coming of fall. This is like my favorite fall drink. Kind of like citrusy ginger, get your immune system up.
It's a cozy one.
that.
Alyssa, what are you sipping on?
I am sipping on chai tea with a side of a very strong energy drink.
Wait, what's the order? Like, do you drink the tea first and then follow on, like chase with the energy drink? Or
I actually, unfortunately, it's the other way around. Do the energy drink, and then I'm like, well, maybe I should calm my body as well as energize.
Oh, no. Doesn't chai also have caffeine in it?
We're just gonna ignore that fact for now.
Are you at least drinking healthier energy drinks? Like those like natural ones?
I mean, it's the zero kind.
Okay.
Whatever helps us feel better. It's okay. You're doing what you need to do for yourself right now.
Yeah,
I got my upper and my downer.
If it's a downer, but okay. Well, relatively speaking, it's a less upper. Oh man. I'm actually drinking coffee.
Wow.
But I have been off coffee for a good month. So I've been very good about this. The reason I'm drinking coffee now is I started to drink coffee again. So we're working on it. But it's lighter. It's a watered down version.
Can you explain the laugh? I'm trying to follow.
Well, I was really good with not drinking coffee, which means that I was good with my sleep schedule. And then things started to go awry as in-laws came over and I tried to stay up a little bit more. And then I needed coffee in the morning. So now I'm back into the coffee swing. And I'm not too proud of it, but here I am. And at least it's watered down. I'm not going to have the whole cup. We're good.
I mean, if a half cup of watered down coffee is your biggest vice right now, I think I think you're doing pretty good for yourself.
Okay.
And you already know that you're capable of weaning yourself away from it, so you can do it again.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Coffee also has seasons, man.
It does. That's a great segue, Alyssa. Beautiful.
Love it. Save us, please.
Yeah. What are we talking about today?
Other than coffee, I think it's a really good time to talk about the changes that we go through as the seasons change as well. I always feel like I have felt visceral changes in the way I kind of interact with the world, with my mental health, with everything when the seasons change. And I was always kind of curious if everyone else felt that way or not, or everyone have just kind of like floated through. So when we kind of talked about this pre-recording, I was kind of excited to dig into it and hear both of your guys' perspectives too of like how you feel as we kind of navigate through seasonal changes and how that kind of affects your everyday lives.
Yeah. So it's officially fall in New York City. Like the temperature kind of dropped significantly today compared to last week. So it really feels like the season has changed for us. I don't know how it is in Korea right now.
Yeah, for us too. Well, it's changed since September. So it started to drop a lot from then. But now in October, in the last couple of weeks, the lows are lower and the highs are kind of similar. So the whole fluctuation within the day is pretty whack. So it's getting chilly, layer season for sure. Leaves are not changing just yet, but you can definitely tell it's no longer summer, and we are definitely in fall.
The mornings are brisker and the skies are grayer for sure.
Yeah. Do you guys find it
Yeah.
harder to get out of bed in the fall?
It's interesting to see Alyssa's facial expression. How do I answer this when I like? I think my answer is a little bit quicker. So it doesn't change for me in terms of getting up in the morning. Actually, maybe it just feels less comfortable to sleep at night because it is a little bit chillier. But yeah, in terms of waking up, I feel more tired. Maybe that's why I'm drinking coffee and I just haven't recognized how tired I am yet. Guess this is not a short answer, but yes, I mean, semi harder, I guess. Talk myself into it. Alyssa, what about you?
I'm actually the opposite. So like the fact that it's getting chillier makes me sleep better because I can now like crack the window open and kind of have the brisk air come in. And it is harder for me to get out of bed in the morning, mainly just because I like get so cozy because it's
Yeah.
like brisker now and it's like you can kind of like nestle in. Whereas like in the summer, I'm like, God, it's hot as fuck. I gotta get out of here and like take a shower.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah. How about you,
True.
MJ?
Yeah, I think the temperature matters for me because I'm so cozy in my blankets. And then, especially right now, when I have the AC installed in my window, there's a lot more like morning draft. So I feel the wind on my face in the morning. And I'm like, no.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm like resisting having to get out of bed. Whereas, like in the summer, like Alyssa said, I could just like get out and there's like colder water or colder, like, water over your face that's waiting for you.
Oh.
And I'm pretty sure the darker morning hours also impact like how we feel about getting up, right? Because it's not as bright as it used to be. So my coworkers were saying that there's going to be no daylight savings come this November.
Yeah.
I personally don't like it.
The US has been saying that for years that they're going to get rid of daylight
I
saving. So I don't really know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I like it too. It works in the summer, but once it hits like winter, it's pretty dreary.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys what your favorite season was and why it's not fall. I'm just kidding, but what your favorite season is.
Well, mine actually is fall.
Mine too.
Me too.
What?
So we can just end the podcast now and conclude that fall is superior to all seasons.
There is no seasonal depression. We love fall.
Okay, so fall, everybody likes fall. What's your favorite thing about fall?
Where do we start?
The briskness, the coziness. The like you can wear layers and then also the leaves change and there's some level of like nostalgia that comes with it. It's just so romantic, isn't it?
It's like the perfect medium season. It's not too cold, but it's not too warm, and you still get some like sunlight. Like it's not dreary all the time. But like also I kind of thrive off of gray, dreary weather. So to me, that gets my endorphins up more than like a sunny spring day.
Wait, Alyssa, have you heard about Seattle or heard of Seattle? I feel
Of
like there's
course,
a place for you.
There, Seattle is actually my top city that I would want to live in. Like,
there we go.
okay.
Yeah,
Things are making sense. Yeah.
But I also noticed that the fall in Korea, because the summer is so humid, like the humidity really dries up here. And the fall in Korea is a lot like the fall that I've experienced in Toronto, where it's like nice and not humid, super kind of breezy. But the good thing is that it lasts for a couple months, whereas in Toronto, it's just like a couple weeks and it's like, bam, winter.
Yeah.
I love the fact that New York has like longer fall months. Like in Toronto, it lasts like 2 weeks, I feel like, not even like multiple weeks. It really feels like summer. And then, okay, as the temperature kind of like dying down, it's like negative. So we're like single digits right away. So like I really didn't have a lot of like fall coats. I had more of like jackets and then like winter, parkas. that I wore kind of for like 6 months out of the year. And then in New York, it's really nice because there's like at least a month of like coat wearing weather. So I do love fall fashion. I do
Yeah.
love like neutral colors. So I love how like the muted palettes of fall fashion tends to be. I like the food. Like I don't know if you guys are pumpkin spice latte girls. Are you?
I typically don't because of the syrup. It just is too much for me, too sweet. But yeah, I do like a really, what's that word in English? Like 고소해?
Nutty.
Kind
Yeah, I
of.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like deeper.
How about you, Alyssa? Do you like pumpkin spice lattes?
I'm not a huge pumpkin fan, but I'll do anything that's like cinnamon. I'll do chai. My fall Starbucks order was always the brown sugar shaken espresso.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, that
yeah.
sounds
Like
so good.
that's like bubble
Brown
tea, isn't it? It's like, does
shaken.
it taste like bubble tea a little bit, like, but with a coffee twist on it?
um I guess it does, kind of in that flavor profile. I get mine this sounds so obnoxious. I get mine with almond milk, so I don't know if that changes it a little bit.
Okay, plus almond milk. Did you know that in Korea, their version of their fall menu, instead of pumpkin, it's like guava?
Guava?
Or
That's
no, no, sorry,
seems
not guava,
I
fig.
was like, girl,
LOL.
guava is like full
Guava.
on tropical.
No, no, okay, so the reason I mixed it up, if I could reclaim what is way too late to be reclaimed right now,
Literally about to throw hands.
is
We're literally talking about like
oh
how you
my god,
like drinks that are like gosohe, and then you're like guava. I'm
guava.
like, it's not gosohe at all.
I'm
Oh
crying.
man, oh man. I just need to hide into a hole right now. That's so funny.
It's so funny because
Oh,
you guys had like a look of judgment when I said you like pumpkin spice lattes. And then we switched over to guava.
and then the face expressions are just like so default.
I don't necessarily judge the pumpkin spice. I just know that it's such like a stereotypical like
Yeah, yeah.
fall basic girl
Yeah.
drink, and I'm like,
Yeah.
if I liked pumpkin, I would be all about it because I will do every stereotypical fall thing that is
Yeah.
out there. But yeah, I happen to just not really like pumpkin.
Yeah.
Do you
See,
guys crunch on leaves when you walk?
yes.
Oh,
Sorry, such a
yeah.
For a
okay.
second, I thought you were thinking like of like
Of like
chewing on
eating them.
leaves.
Yeah, I was like, no, I certainly don't go that far, but
Because you were talking about like eating or
Sorry.
drinking.
Like I was like, oh, what's everything to do with fall? And my mind just starts to go there. But the leaves in Korea are huge. Like they're
I
like
was just
bigger
gonna
Right.
than
say
your
that.
feet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And they're just so like nice and crunchy to step on. Sorry.
No, they are. And it's so beautiful. It's like a sensory overload, right? Like visually it's
Yeah.
so pleasing and then like tactile wise it's also so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know how anyone could argue that fall isn't the best season. It really is just like the prettiest season.
Yeah.
It really is. Fall color is very beautiful.
Yeah. And I was gonna say fall also comes with its share of like holidays. So like there's the
Mm.
fall autumn festival or the mid autumn festival,
Mhm.
prevalent across Asia. And then there's like Thanksgiving. Canadian Thanksgiving actually is very close. And then American
Mm.
Thanksgiving is a little bit closer to the winter, I find. I don't consider like end of November like fall, but
Mm.
there's a decent number of holidays here. So I know you guys are also taking some days off of work, or like, Julie, you have some guests over at your place. So maybe we can dive into like how we are individually dealing with fall as seasons change today.
For me, it's been interesting because both falls last year and this year have been hosting people over in Korea. So last year, it was as soon as I touched down in Korea to move here, my mom and sister had already planned from before we planned on moving here that they'll take a vacation here. So they ended up just conveniently staying at our place. So I was pretty drained for the whole like month and a half. And so this year, what's changed for me is two things. Number one, I had gone through like a low phase emotionally. I'm not sure to call it depression, but that was really tough for me. And I also learned that I really need my own time. So I didn't know how to control that. But then secondly, thankfully, what happened was also therapy. And that helped me understand that I take a lot of things by the extreme. So let's say if I were to host people over, I would think that I need to be perfect in every single way, especially when in-laws are in the home. Like everything needs to be absolutely clean. Or if I were to set up a meal for them, like I would have to personally cook it and it had to be at least 10 different kinds of side dishes, like that very traditional Korean like housewife type of role, and that I would have to really stay on point with making sure that I'm an amazing host. But what my therapist told me was, you know, in its core essence, people are staying over just because it's just convenient for them. And but once I was able to train my mind to just be like, you know what, I it's okay. Like we can all just get along. Everyone has their own rhythms. We're going to be accommodating of each other. Then we'll have a really good time. I started to actually end up looking forward to the time that I'll have with my in-laws. Like now that they're here, I've been just like super enjoying it. And also my mother-in-law has been like super vocal, like, you know what, just let us do our thing. Like you guys do your thing. And then, whenever our schedules match, we'll do something, but it doesn't need to be anything crazy. We can order delivery. We could do whatever. And like, she's like very, um, you know, good about being accommodating on her end too. So it's been just so nice and warm and bonding for us to be together.
I mean, I do recognize that people staying over at your place, like there's like mixed emotions about it for me too. There's like the enjoyment and the joy of like spending quality time together and being able to, care for them or being able to provide for them. And then there's like a side of me that is like, I need my own personal space too. And if it's especially for like a prolonged period of time, then I do feel overwhelmed for like not being able to like get my own space or being kind of constantly on or like, switched on for external facing no matter how close I am with those people. So I'm glad that you were able to like work with your therapist to think about it in a different light. Because it sounds like it's like, series of guests coming over. It's not just your in-laws right now.
Mm. Yeah, it's been good to understand that I have the ability to focus on just the good stuff and not have to really get into my head about how I'm going to be the perfect host.
Yeah, you're like taking care of yourself so that you can be present when you need to be present, like fully
Yes.
present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like what people don't talk about a lot when they think about fall season is it is kind of this very pre-celebratory season because we're going in this string of holidays and it's supposed to mean like celebration and family and togetherness, but there is the other side of it where it is very stressful because it's like you have this one time in the year to cram in all of these rituals and ceremonies and traditions, and it all has to feel really happy and really celebratory and really kind of like almost like borderline euphoric, but there's so much stress that comes with it because now it's, especially as we get older, it's families are now blended. Now your siblings or maybe you have your own families, and parent dynamics have also changed. So it's like you kind of have to juggle all of those things. And especially if you're like one of our personality types that usually kind of takes on the role and responsibility of being like
Mhm.
kind of the internal family coordinator for all of these things and wanting to make everything perfect. It's a lot to put on someone's shoulders. And although it is very celebratory, it also gets very draining.
Yeah. And I think it also comes with a sense of like loneliness as well. Like you see so much on media how like holidays are about congregation and you are always with people to eat together or to go to these events together, go to these like special exhibitions together. But sometimes it does feel like fall is a great time to spend time on your own too, like reflecting as your year's coming to a close. Because like in December, I feel like it's even more hectic. There's so many like holiday related schedules that end up popping up on your calendar, Whereas like fall, I was even thinking about going to like Central Park on my own when the leaves start turning colors, because I want to be able to reflect on those changes without feeling like I have to spend time, conversing with somebody else.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a mix of emotions.
Would you
Yeah.
guys say that you guys feel lonely, or you feel like the aloneness more and you might enjoy that?
I feel like it's a question that I haven't been able to answer yet. I do think that as I become a little bit older, I recognize the importance of spending time with myself, like fully with myself. I've cared less about what other people think about people spending time on their own, because when I was younger, I used to think, you have to have like social events during these times, during like Friendsgiving or during like Thanksgiving, um, in order to feel fulfilled. But now I'm coming to terms with, the value of spending time with yourself.
You are the more extroverted out of the three of us. So it does give more perspective as to like you looking for that balance and like discovering that part. Like at least for me, like I never had the concept of having to spend time with other people. And I think that would have just made me really like, what? Like, I'm really pressured.
Mhm.
Perhaps you just were able to adopt that really naturally too.
Yeah. How about you, Alyssa? Do you usually have like go to traditions or go to recurring events during fall season?
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I think of fall, I think of like in the States, like our school year starts in the fall. Is that the same with
In
Canada?
Canada, yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So like in in some senses, I still feel that sense of like fall is the beginning. And then in other senses, I'm very
Mm.
aware that like we're entering the final months of the actual year. So it's also the end. So it's like
Oh,
balancing
true.
those two mentalities at the same time as an adult has always been interesting because like in my head, I'm like, oh, it's the beginning of the school year. But your question was, do I have certain rituals with in the fall with like family or friends? Yes, I do. I try to do as many like fall related activities as I possibly can. So like getting out to see like the leaves changing. And as you guys know, there's always like a period of time where it's like the peak. So I try to like either go with friends or go with family if I can. But I think as I get older, I get a lot more sentimental about those things. And like now that we're all kind of far away from our families, I think I'm a lot more aware of how much I miss them, but I don't know if that necessarily makes me feel lonely. I'm just more hyper aware of it. Like I feel their absence more, but it doesn't necessarily make me feel lonely. But fall is a very beautiful and like melancholy season for me.
When's the next time you're going to be able to see your family?
Mm, at the soonest, probably middle of next year, if not end of next year. But yeah, not no time soon, I don't think.
Got it. Got it. Well, I'm sure the wait will be worth it when you see them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, in retrospect, it's only been a year, and like I know
Oh,
people have
okay.
gone
Got
much longer without
it.
seeing
Yeah.
their family, but
Especially during COVID. Oof. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So
I don't know. Maybe it's because it's fall, but when MJ asked Alyssa about family, I miss your family for you, Alyssa.
no,
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I miss them. Yeah. I think it's also because it gets colder, so you get a little
I
bit
was
more
gonna say.
tense, like body wise, right? And
Mhm.
Yeah.
then you just feel like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want more people around.
yeah.
Mm.
One specific ritual I will say that I will miss not being able to do this year is having Harry Potter marathon with my brother.
Oh, that's a
Oh.
'Cause
good
that's
one.
always yeah, yeah. That's, like, one of my favorite things to do in the fall.
Oh,
Yeah. And
wow.
and some people like to do it over like Christmas too, right?
Yeah,
Like with the
it
whole like
segues
Mm.
perfectly
yeah,
in
it
yeah.
segues. It segues nicely.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Oh, that's a good one.
I
MJ, what about you? What's your fall thing?
My fall thing, other than pumpkin spice lattes, I'm just it's so ironic. I've only had like one pumpkin spice latte like this
But it's
entire
your whole
time,
personality now in the fall.
but it's my whole personality. I just love what it stands for. Um, no, but I love like decorations. I like going to like Winners or like Marshalls and looking at pumpkin themed things. Just like eye shopping because I don't want to like buy things and not have the space to put it. But I also love hosting people. So I'm hosting like a group of friends tomorrow for dinner. But Julie, I like completely sympathize with how my perfection comes into play whenever I like volunteer for these things, for like
Mm-hmm.
these like social hostings, and I'm just like the perfection gets in the way of like happiness or like being able to
Mm.
enjoy the actual moments, right? So yeah,
Yeah, it's
stressed.
like you want to host them, but then you get stressed trying to host them, but then you want to enjoy while you're hosting them because it's
Yeah,
something that you wanted to do.
yeah,
And yeah, it's a whole thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I was gonna say, because I was taking notes while Alyssa was speaking about back to school and like fall coinciding with that. I feel like fall is usually also a season with like many changes in our lives. Like summer vacations, like you usually have something that you maybe were looking forward to for the entirety of the year from the beginning. And then you may have been able to get that out of the way. There's like school starting, there's like your first job also might have been in fall if you were graduating within that cycle. New people also start on the job, for example, or like summer interns leave. I just feel like fall is just like a season of many different things happening around you that you not necessarily control. So it's also a season of where I don't know, I sometimes feel lost, like in the
Mm.
currents, of the season.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I feel like fall is where momentum picks up again for everything. Because summer is
Yeah.
everyone's still on vacation mode, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you're in school or not. Like it still feels like the vacation months. And then like fall is like when things pick back up. Definitely is kind of like jumping into the chaos. But I don't know. I kind of enjoy that. I don't know. I just feel so lethargic in the summer and it doesn't have the same appeal to me as it did when I was a kid. I hate to say it, but sometimes I feel like I kind of wish away summer and just like can't
Whoa.
wait for fall to come. Like I said this to Julie all summer. I was like, I can't freaking wait
All
for
the
it to
time.
be fall.
All the
It's a
time.
It's
controversial. We might get canceled for it. It's that controversial.
I'm just I'm not a summer gal.
You
Yeah,
know what?
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
say like Korean summers also
Mhm.
like they tend to be kind of gross. But I love Korean falls. There's an
Mhm.
expression that says like sky feels taller, and I love that expression not only because it's poetic,
Oh,
but because I love looking up at the sky and then it feeling like infinite. Like it's just like it extends. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
another thing that I was thinking about is when Alyssa mentioned the calendar year is almost over, but then MJ and you guys both also mentioned that there's new things that are starting. What if fall, like, I don't really, I mean, our calendar is a concept, right? Like somebody had to choose when January starts. But what if fall was the start of the calendar year? Because oftentimes this is when I start to feel like the excitement, the kind of like, looking forward, anticipating what's happening, starting to think how I'm gonna like start fresh rather than me. Like I don't do the New Year's resolution thing, but does it not feel like a start for you guys and something to look forward to, or does it feel like something's coming to a close more?
I think they can coexist, to be honest. At least for me, like I don't feel like I have a choice but for them to coexist because the two realities are kind of happening at the same time, regardless of whether or not like I want to accept it. But you know how
Mm-mm.
there's like always so many of those quotes that autumn is the season that reminds us that there's like beauty in letting go and that change is inevitable, but it doesn't mean that it's like a bad thing, like when you're talking about like the leaves changing. I just think fall is such a good representation of that because it's not indicative of a definite end or a definite beginning of anything. Like it's a transitional season, and I think that's why I happen to resonate with fall so much because it's like I don't feel like I'm forced to have to start something or like have to end something.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the beauty of fall is like it's the limbo between the hyperactivity of summer and then kind of the festivities of the holiday season, like the true winter holiday season. And I just feel like it's like muted. Everything's kind of muted. So I feel like it feels more like calmer. Doesn't feel like as lively as the summer months might have been. So it almost feels like a winding down season versus like a picking up season. You know, Julie, to your point about whether fall feels like the beginning.
Which is why I think it's like an introvert's dream season.
Yeah, like for me, I just get so energized in fall. Like, yes. Yes, this is my jam.
Wait,
Okay.
what are you guys' personal colors? And I know this sounds like a very big deviation, but my personal color, I think it's related to like autumn, and you know how there's like, you know, the
Mm.
4 seasons that play a role in your personal colors. And I feel like because I love autumn colors so much, I feel great just like dressing up every day and just like wearing my favorite things and just like looking at people who are also dressed beautifully out on the streets. And that really boosts my mood. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. I've never gotten like the official personal color assessment, but I did do one in passing at like a festival that I went to in the summer. I actually was a deep autumn. And I
Oh
told
my
them when I
god.
sat down, I was like, I actually think I'm a deep autumn. And I was like, I know I'm not a spring. So they're like, oh, you're right. Like you actually do lean more toward.
Interesting. And Julie, you're dressed very autumnal today.
But yeah, I run autumn mute, and this was from an assessment. I thought I was deep autumn, and then MJ, you said I was soft, like the mute autumn, and you ended up being right. So I think I
Oh my
told you
god.
that day. I think, yeah, I texted you.
You guys know what a cuffing season is, right?
Oh yeah.
A coffee season?
Cuffing season.
season?
Cuffing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we cuffing?
Like
I
each
haven't
other.
heard of it.
Each other.
Oh, like handcuff kind of cuff,
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
like
Yeah.
a.
Cuffing season as in like you handcuff each other to each other because
Yeah.
holidays are
Oh.
approaching and you spend more time indoors. So you're looking for like a cuddle buddy. And also, I think in Korea it also has like a different meaning. It's like there's a date, a very specific date that is
Yeah,
like 100
Quebec
days
Day.
out from,
Hmm.
yeah, like Christmas or like New Year's Eve, right?
It's called a confession day.
Yeah.
So you
Where you
confess
confess
to
your
your
love.
crush.
When is it?
Yeah. When it passed, it was
Oh, it
just a couple days
passed?
ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
COVID
okay.
is over.
So
Yeah.
clearly nobody confessed to me
We-
on the Korean
Yeah. We missed our window.
Yeah. Gotta wait till confession day
Oh, man.
2024. But yeah, like cuffing season is real. So I wanted to get you guys, maybe like Alyssa specifically, your thoughts on cuffing season.
My thoughts on cuffing season is, although everything about the season makes me like more sentimental and like emotional and like want that like, oh, like that little like cozy like cuddle buddy, because I'm
Yeah.
so hyper aware that cuffing season is a thing, I'm like
Yeah.
more skeptical
Yeah, yeah. Like
of
turned
like
off
any
almost.
yeah of like, am I just your
No.
like cuff? And on this topic, I actually rage deleted my Hinge profile last week because
Oh
of this
no.
very-
You are the opposite of cuffing season.
like not even deleted the app from my phone, like I deleted my entire profile in history.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Oh,
that's where I
tears.
am with
This is
my
sad.
openness to being cuffed.
I'm all for taking the time to enjoy fall and enjoy the holidays with like you and your friends and loved ones versus like having to find somebody to spend that particular time with. Because I'm the same way. Like I paused my Hinge profile. Yeah, I'm with you. Like cuffing season is not really my go-to season to get into a relationship.
Because, okay, my take on this, my very opinionated take on this is, if I'm going to enter this season with a significant other, like that's exactly, like I want to enter the season with them. Like I don't want to establish something during the season, because like it's already short enough where it's like my precious time cannot be spent ramping up a relationship.
Yes, you're actually so right. Do you
which is
think,
like, who am I to have those standards? But still,
hey,
in my mind.
yeah, you and I both. But do you think relationships usually, because I'm wondering if it's also cuffing season because a lot of the summer flings come to an end, and then now people are looking for more like longer term relationships that span multiple months.
I think
And
so. And I think it's
yeah,
like because holiday festivities come up, and usually that's
yeah,
when it's like you should have like a plus one to bring, and
right.
like the pressure of that too, I think has something to do.
Fascinating. Yeah. No, but I'm the same way.
Guys, you can't do this. I'm always keeping my eyes peeled for you. I know I'm not the best wing woman and I apologize on that front, but I am trying. And if you tell me that you're not looking for somebody for a whole quarter of the year, this is gonna, it really depletes my morale. So I wish that you guys would be more open. Thank you.
I mean, if it happened organically,
Yeah. I was gonna
whatever
say.
organic is in this day and age, but like I will not like go on a dating app and like try
Okay.
to
Okay.
find someone. Yeah.
Thank you. That makes me feel better. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's
Mhm.
also like the cuffing season or the romanticness is elevated with all the fall themed movies being some sort of a like a rom com or like having that
Hmm.
element
Mhm.
in it. Like the Christmas movies, obviously, but also like a lot of the fall themed movies, especially like the New York City based ones, they're all about like finding love. So it really accentuates like
Yeah.
I don't know the search for a partner or the need,
Yeah.
quote unquote. Yeah,
Because fall is really like the perfect backdrop for that, right? Like finding your one true love in the big bustling city while everything
yeah,
is moving and changing. Like, I mean,
yeah,
it's
Yeah.
storytelling gold.
yeah. The wind is blowing in your hair. You're holding a Starbucks cup in your hand
Yeah, yeah.
and a newspaper in the other.
Wait, do you guys have like a go-to like fall, like okay, like Harry Potter series aside, um, like fall like comfort movie?
I don't have like recurring movies that I watch often, but one movie that I was long overdue to watch that I watched very recently is Spirited Away. And I thought that was such a good
Oh,
movie. Oh my
yes.
gosh.
Yeah, classic.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh. It
yeah.
hit everywhere it needed to hit for me. And I think that could be like a very good go-to fall movie.
Yeah, and the Studio Ghibli soundtrack or the playlist, I have it on. Lo-fi,
So good.
non-lo-fi, yeah.
So good.
Nonstop, nonstop. And you know what's interesting? In fall, I listen to Korean ballads, like very specific. Like I feel like there's no other genre of music that hits the spot for me during these like transitional months than Korean ballads. And this goes for spring too. There's like something about like their beats or their concoction of like melody and like beats. I don't know that really speak to me during these transitional periods.
Yeah, you can like emotionally look out the window as you're as you're commuting.
Yeah, yeah, and like shed a tear just randomly, just like I don't know. Probably
Pretend
all the
you're in a music
K-drama.
video. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Pretend you're
yeah.
like the protagonist of your life, the music video. Yeah.
Yeah, and what was your movie?
I love also watching The Nightmare Before Christmas,
Hmm.
and I've gotten some heat from other friends around me who've always told me that that's like the most like gloomiest, like depressing movie to watch in the fall. But for me, it's kind of like I love like how it's like a transition movie, you know? I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys are familiar with the synopsis or how the
Hmm.
movie goes,
Hmm.
but yeah, it has a fall theme in the beginning and then it goes over to Christmas. So I love it. I'm just like, yeah, this gets me really in the holiday mood. Like not sarcastically, like genuinely it does.
Yeah, yeah. And there's so many good renditions of The Nightmare Before Christmas too, that I feel like.
Renditions? What do you mean? Like
Mhm. Like the live play versions of it too. And yeah, I just think
oh
I
my
think it's a really
gosh.
great
Okay.
story.
I will look into it right after
Wow.
this.
What
Were you guys ever like romantic comedy gals? Like the typical like Notebook or like those type of movies in the fall?
No, not really.
Okay. This is my confession. My fall guilty pleasure is A Walk to Remember. Have you guys seen that movie?
Wait, who's in it? Who's in it?
Mandy Moore and Shane West. It's really old. It was like a very early 2000s, and it came out around the same time as The Notebook. So
2002
like,
film.
yeah, it's very old, but that's like my comfort movie in the fall. And then like once Christmas rolls around, it's Polar Express, which is also a very
Oh, good one.
which is also a very old one.
Watch this.
I've always
A
found
Walk to
Polar
Remember.
Express to be kind of scary.
Really? What
Yeah.
But
part of
even
it?
more so than Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, like something about the Polar, because I feel like the Nightmare Before Christmas I watched as an adult, but the Polar Express,
Mm.
like watching it as a kid, I thought something about like getting lost or like getting on a train, like
Oh.
like felt very uneasy for me.
Oh, I always
Really?
thought that was so magical.
Me
Oh.
That
too.
like journey, yeah.
Me
I was like,
too. I would love
I
to
would
like this.
love, yeah.
Anyway, I
Sorry.
will watch Walk to Remember. I have not
Please,
watched it.
please
Mm.
do.
I also haven't watched The Notebook or actually Titanic for the matter. I have this thing where if I feel like I missed the window for watching it, then I almost don't want to like
Oh, I
catch
feel
up.
that. I feel that. Yeah.
So I know we have about like 3 months left in the year. What are you guys' thoughts on what you're looking forward to the most in the remaining 3 months? And I know New Year's resolution is not everybody's favorite, and I'm not asking for resolutions, but things that you think you'll look back on this year and think that was so good. Is there anything that comes to mind for you?
Sure, I'll go first. The A lot of things to reflect on this year. I think this year was one of the most adventurous and exciting years in life. The end of this year will hopefully wrap up with me visiting friends and family in Canada and in the US, or really just in California. Yeah, so I think like overall, like a lot of ups and downs, very kind of wholesome and exploratory time for me.
Nice. And
Mhm.
it also
Mhm.
sounds
Love
like you
that.
still have a lot to look forward to in the remaining year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Very fortunate.
Can I
Alyssa,
like,
what about you? Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, so Julie, we met in the winter. We
Yeah.
met like at the beginning of the winter. So like seeing how like your trajectory from the winter through the spring through the summer to like now fall, and like hearing your plans, and like it just coming full circle, I feel like is like, I don't know, from like a friend perspective, it's just like so exciting for me to see, and just like
Aw.
knowing, obviously you just kind of gave like a nutshell version of it, but like seeing you go through that journey like in real time, and like all the work that you put into it, seeing
Mm.
all your fruits kind of come to fruition, like I think is really special, and I'm really very proud of you as
Oh,
a friend.
Coming
thank
to
you.
fruition. What an appropriate metaphor.
No
Yeah.
pun intended.
All the seeds planted coming to fruition. Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Ready for your synopsis of the year, Alyssa?
I don't know if I have so much of a synopsis or like as exciting of one, but I will say as we go into the last 3 months of this year, that also will mark kind of my 1 year of this journey of moving to Korea. And it's definitely had um, a lot of downs, also a lot of ups as well. But I've learned a lot about I've learned a lot about boundaries and setting expectations and things that I kind of want out of life. So I think going into these next 3 months, it'll be the first time that I'm spending like a full holiday season away from family and friends. Um, which like I think as of this moment, I've kind of come to peace with it and I'm okay with it. But I think when the time comes, I think it'll be a little bit tough. So I really want to be conscious and aware of trying to navigate like my favorite time of year without the people that I love close to me, and not letting that, yeah, just trying to make the most out of my situation, because I know I might not get this opportunity again to be in this point of my life, in this place in my life to enjoy this time. So like I really should try to make the most out of it. So the last 3 months is going to feel a little bit more ambiguous for me, I think, but I'm kind of trying to lean into that and let life kind of take me where I'm intended to go and like trust in that process.
Yes.
Also, kind of just seeing, Alyssa, what you're doing and appreciating how you've been navigating this year. Like, I think it's really great that you are trying to do your best for yourself, like form of self-care to try to stay, positive and strong, starting a new job even after having left another one here in a completely new country. Also, just knowing you've got your tendencies to, close into yourself and wanting to then make sure that that doesn't happen. So you are keeping your energy levels up and creating new connections in replacement of, or not direct replacement, in absence of having family here. All these things are not easy to do at all. And I know you've just summarized it so poetically, but just knowing that the depth of how you are experiencing these things and how much you are really trying is something that I'm just so happy that you are doing for yourself. Yeah. I don't know why I was like tearing up while I was hearing you say your thing, but
No, because I think we
wanted to share that.
respectively like also see from like another person's perspective, like the growth that everybody's kind
Yeah.
of gone through.
Yeah,
Mm.
for
So
sure.
yeah.
MJ, how about you as we wrap up 2023?
Well, I was hoping, somebody would talk about the podcast, but I guess that's why we saved mine for last.
I felt like podcast was unspoken, but yeah, go for it. Please.
No, but I think it's worth celebrating that we have a couple episodes out in the ether and it's now live. We're able to talk about it. We're able to share it. Because I feel like it was an idea. It was a seed that was planted in the in the seeding season in like March, April, and then the summer months, really nourished it, and then now we are, fully reaping the harvest. So
Yeah, we got some spuds that are starting to
yes, yeah,
see the surface.
Anyway, no. So I'm really proud of what we were able to accomplish, like all of us in our individual times. But I'm proud of us and looking forward to the remaining 3 months. I'm just looking forward to just like the beauty of living in a city like New York. I feel like I really didn't enjoy last year because I was homesick and I was comparing everything that I didn't have here to what I had in Canada. So this year I'm trying to focus on, what are the unique benefits of being in New York in the beautiful fall months and the holiday season. So
yeah, it'll be magical.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, but I'm also like not going home this December, and I used to always go home and see my parents for Christmas, Alyssa. So I'm with you. Like, I'm navigating uncharted kind of waters other than the COVID times. Yeah.
But I will say, like, if there was anywhere else to spend like this season away from like friends and family, Seoul and New York aren't too bad of places.
Yeah,
to have to do that. Yeah,
I agree.
So,
I agree. Yeah.
Lucky in that sense.
Yeah. No, but I appreciate you guys. Yeah. If it's a season of Thanksgiving, I am giving thanks to you guys. Yeah. And then also like making a new connection, Alyssa, this year. Very thankful for that. And Julie, like this is a very creative way to also keep in touch. So
true.
This is awesome.
True.
Yeah. I think changes are there's always going to be difficulties that come with changes, but the result that comes at the end of it and the beauty of the process as opposed to focusing on the results, I think is why fall is like always such a meaningful season for me personally. And I think that is very much proven in like this podcast and this friendship with you guys. And yeah,
yes, embrace it.
So cute, guys.
Embrace the
Love
change.
You.
Okay. Is that a good end? Like, is that a good?
I think that's a great end.
I love this. So that was a wrap of the Soulful Sips episode where we talk about our sentiments about fall with a couple side tangents. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And until then, 오늘도 수고했어.
수고했어. Happy fall.
Happy fall.
Yeah, maybe I'll try to cut it down into one episode because I think it would be kind of a fun to do even like a short one, like specifically for like Christmas time.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe let's do that.
Sorry.
I'm
I'm
putting that in our outro.
Oh no!
Oh no! Clear.
Content.